Today on Motor Illustrated, you are about to discover what is the base, the beginning of what will probably be the next 60 years of electrification at BMW. At BMW, electrification always been something very serious. We can go back in time with the i3 and i8. Both models, they didn't have the success they were expecting, but they keep going. They then introduced the i4, more recently the i5 and i7, but all these three sedans come with an ICE version. So we know there are compromises during the conception of these vehicles. So this is why the Neue Klasse is so important at BMW. And we know when they put that name on a vehicle, it's because it is very important. It's a brand new chapter for the company. In 2023, they introduced the sedan, and then a year later, they came up with the X version, which is the SUV version. And this is the production model, the very first new class that will be available on the Canadian market. So look at this vehicle because it is very important. This is the base for the next 60 years, at least. Design at BMW always have been a trademark. It's a luxury brand, so it comes with it. And they're coming back with something that is very important, the new grille, the small kidneys. We've been used to the huge kidneys over the last few years, but they're going back. And that's the interesting part on this vehicle about design, on my point of view, because this is the exact same approach they used in 1965 with the original Neue Klasse. With the headlamps now, they kept the design very well integrated, and it's very much smaller than it was before. So it is modern. Even though it looks very big, it's not the case. And you gotta know, you can have as an option an enlightened grille and the lights. So this is something very cool. On the side, it's more conservative, but there are a few things that are very interesting. The side wings here, they look a lot like the big brother, the iX. Size of the wheel now, over 10 different design will be available on the model from 20 to 22 inch, so a lot of choice. Obviously, it's a BMW, so they had to keep the Hofmeister kink. That's something that I really like. It is very conservative, but you know it's a BMW. When you look at the back, again, conservative, but classic yet modern. You've got these tail lights, fully LEDs. I like the signature, and you still have the L into it, which is a key element of BMW. Rear diffuser, big one, and you'll have few options in terms of design. Not overwhelming, but something that can make it a little bit more sporty with the M Sport and M Sport Pro, and this will be available in Canada. But what I like the most, it's the Neue Klasse is totally different from what we've seen so far from BMW. Now about the mechanical parts of the new iX3 2027, and BMW went all in. It's only high-end technology, high-end modernity under the vehicle, and it starts with an 800-volt architecture. And when we got that kind of architecture, it can tell you that you got high power for recharge. And in this case, you can go up to 400 kilowatts. So this is very powerful for level 3 recharge. So you stop quickly and you're full or almost full. This is something very good for electric driver. In terms of battery also, it is smaller, higher density, so it is a much better battery. The most technical they've ever produced yet, and it is not small, 108.7 kilowatt hour, which is kind of big, but not that heavy. That's something very good about this. It has obviously two engines, one in the front, one in the back. The one in the front is a little less powerful than the one in the back, and that's something that I like because it gives you a feeling of rear-wheel drive a little bit more, even though this vehicle is all-wheel drive. In terms of power, that's very interesting. Also, they have 463 horsepower and 476 pound-feet of torque, and BMW announced below 5 seconds for the 0-100 km per hour. So this thing is quick. Let's go. With the iX3 2027, BMW starts from scratch, literally, and it is the case inside also. One of the good things with electric cars is there's no you can use the whole space inside of the vehicle, and BMW really pushed it with this vehicle. First thing, we have to talk about the design. It's clear, it's pure, there's nothing too fancy. While it is very fancy, that's something they've managed to do, which is very cool. But there are 4 pillars with the panoramic eye vision. Let's start with probably the most impressive one, which is the one at the base of the windscreen. It is a projection, and it gives you different widgets that you can use, either the passenger or the driver. And you can get navigation. You have plenty of information from this point of view, and that's something interesting. Mercedes, Lincoln, Cadillac are trying to do pillar-to-pillar screens, and it doesn't work. It feels that it's just jumping in your face, but here it's slim, it's very well integrated into the windscreen, and it's a projection, so really it is clear. I really like that projection. Another projection is available on one of these 4 pillars. It's the heads-up display, 3D dimension, very complete for informations. But when you have it on, plus the screen at the base of the windscreen, there's a lot of information, so you can turn it off, or it's an option, so you choose. Second thing, it's the brand new screen that will be spread out through pretty much all the newest BMW that will come over the next few years. It's 17.9 inch, very well designed. The ergonomic inside of this program is very good, much better than the older iDrive systems. Less function in it, but it's more complete. So it's kind of hard to explain, but they simplified a lot of the system. Very clear. The definition is very impressive, something that I really enjoy. The 4th pillar now is the steering wheel. There will be 4 different designs for it. This is the design for the M Pro version, so only 2 arms, haptic resolution on this, and lighted at night, and it light only when you need the button. So that's something that is very interesting, because the car literally read how you drive. And for the other steering wheels, you can have one in white, which is special, and the other ones, you have the 2 arms. The branches are on top at noon and at 6, so it's completely different, and it's a new strategy for BMW. Material wise, there are a few eco materials inside of the vehicle, but the fits and finish is amazing. There's the dashboard, which is retro and lighted, and I really like that. The center console, floating induction charge for cell phones, and few comments right here, while the transmission buttons is also here. So it is very functional, it's tiny, and nothing is too complicated about inside of this vehicle, and that's something that I really enjoy. Seats, the one that I'm sitting on right now, will be eventually available on the Canadian market, but the other seats are very comfortable. A lot of supports on the side and for the legs, so that's very good. In terms of visibility right now, generally it is not too bad, but I have to say the A-pillar base is very wide, so city driving might be a little bit more complicated because of that. Otherwise, you've got a big panoramic roof. It is an option. And if you sit in the back, a lot of space for at least 3 people. That is something very interesting, because it's an electric car, so you have no problem with space. Trunk wise, now you've got a little one in the front, which is cute for some storage, but in the back it starts at 520 liter, and if you fold down the seat, it goes up to 1750 liter. Driving the iX3 right now on the Ascari circuit in Spain, obviously this is not a sports car, at least not the way it is built right now. They will eventually have more powerful versions, but anyway, it's not what is important right now. There are a few things that are very interesting about this vehicle. First thing first, you gotta know there are only four computers that manage the whole thing. The most important to my taste, it's called the Art of Joy, and that's the one that manage absolutely everything inside the vehicle for dynamics. So the way the steering is balanced, the suspension, the delivery of the engine's power. So it is the heart really of the car, and naming it Art of Joy, it makes me smile because it does bring joy to you. Now, the different things. The power, it's good. Honestly, over 450 horsepower. Same with the torque. You really have a lot of pedal under your feet, and that's something that I like. And because it's electric, as soon as you press the gas, it's literally flying. So that's why I do believe BMW when they're saying that this car can do the 0-100 km/h below 5 seconds. Something else that is very important, the steering wheel, the way it's balanced. It could be a little bit more tight, but if you activate the sports mode, it brings new life to the vehicle. So it's more tight while you do curves. So that's something that I really appreciate. The suspension, you know, with electric car, the way the suspensions are set can define the vehicle. It can be very rough, very smooth, or just very good, and that's what we got with the iX3. They're very good. You feel the weight of the vehicle, but it's not in a compromised way. You just know the vehicle is heavy. You can take a curve with speed and the car will be able to handle it. The suspensions are working very well, and obviously you've got high technical suspensions in here, so you can play with this a lot. Braking, same thing. One pedal driving. BMW knows how to manage that technology, and it's the same with this one, and honestly it works very well. This vehicle is very, very nice to drive, and I think they've done something very interesting with their newer Klasse. It is a proper BMW. They haven't messed up with it. Final thoughts now about the BMW iX3 2027, and honestly I believe that BMW made its homework. The technology underneath the vehicle is very impressive. It's to the highest level that you can get right now on the market. The 800-volt technology, the way the battery stacks are made, it's the 6th generation of batteries for BMW, and they already know with the 5th generation how to do it, so with the 6th it's even better. The interior, very impressive. The fact that you only have 4 large brain computer, supercomputer, it is something that I think is very intelligent, because we know that the most problem cars have right now is related to programmation and computers inside of the vehicle. By having only 4 now, it probably will be much better in terms for the reliability. Driving impression also, this is a great car. It is a true BMW. The suspension on this vehicle are doing literally magic, and they're not even adaptive or air suspension. They're just standard suspension, but they work very well. Otherwise, price-wise, we don't know yet. We're over 6 months ahead of the arrival of the vehicle on the Canadian market, but you can expect something between $80,000 to $85,000 for the 50 version. But you have to know there will be a 40 version, probably less powerful, maybe with a smaller battery, but there will also be a 60 version, which will be more powerful, probably over 500 horsepower. And because we are at BMW, there will be for sure 100% an M version of this vehicle, because they can do it. It's easier with electrification, and the M division likes to put power underneath the pedal. So we have to wait to see this, but I'm pretty sure it will happen. The vehicle will be on the Canadian market by June or July, and by then, if you want to read my full review about this BMW iX3 2027, I invite you to go on motorillustrated.com for my full review, and by then, have a great day.